bad dialogue can break your reader's immersion instantly. It can make your characters feel flat and fake, or worse, turn what's meant to be a powerful scene into a punchline. I can think of no better example of powerful scenes becoming punchlines than Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Now, I am a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm perhaps the world's biggest Attack of the Clones apologist. I saw it 11 times in theaters. But I am also a writing teacher and an editor who has taught the craft of writing to thousands of people. And dialogue is something I see writers struggle with again and again and again, especially in early drafts. So come along with me as I break down 4 of the most common dialogue writing mistakes using my beloved Attack of the Clones as an example.
You seem a little on edge.
Not at all.
I haven't felt you this tense since we fell into that nest of gundarks.
You fell into that nightmare, Master, and I rescued you, remember?
Oh, yes.
Oh, Ewan McGregor's laugh is so good.
You're sweating. Relax. Take a deep breath.
I haven't seen her in 10 years, Master.
10 whole years. Okay, this first scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin makes the cardinal dialogue mistake of giving away too much exposition in the dialogue itself. Basically, it sounds like Obi-Wan and Anakin are speaking to us, not to each other. That's because the information that they're sharing should already be known to both of those characters. When Anakin's like, "Master, I haven't seen her in 10 years, oh my gosh." There's no real reason for him to actually say that out loud to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan would know that. Anakin and Obi-Wan are master and Padawan. They spend basically every single waking moment together. So they're kind of already killing any of the emotional tension in Anakin and Padme's reunion by over-explaining the length of time between their history rather than just letting it build organically. It also creates these questions about why Anakin hasn't seen Padme in 10 years, especially when Obi-Wan clearly has, which we wouldn't even have if they hadn't literally told us this. They're basically giving us too much literal information and literal backstory that we actually don't need. So now that we've seen an example of what not to do, let's look at what to do. I'm going to pull up the scene from The Social Network.
Although just because something's trite doesn't make it any less
I want to try to
true.
be straightforward with you and tell you that I think you might want to be a little more supportive. If I get in, I will be taking you to the events and the gatherings, and you'll be meeting a lot of people you wouldn't normally get to meet.
You would do that for me?
We're dating.
Okay. Well, I want to try and be straightforward with you and let you know that we're not anymore.
What do you mean?
We're not dating anymore, I'm sorry.
Is this a joke?
No, it's not.
You're breaking up with me?
You are going to introduce me to people I wouldn't normally have the chance to meet. What is that supposed to mean?
Wait, settle down.
What is it supposed to mean?
Erica, the reason we're able to sit here and drink right now is because you used to sleep with the door guy.
We all been on a date like this?
The door guy, his name is Bobby. I have not slept with the door guy. The door guy is a friend of mine, and he's a perfectly good class of people. And what part of Long Island are you from? Wimbledon?
Wait.
I'm going back to my dorm.
Wait. Is this real?
Yes.
Okay, then wait. I apologize, okay?
I have to go study.
Erica?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I mean it.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a bit. This is a great example of a terrible first date, but the part I'm thinking about is a little bit later.
I think we should just be friends.
I don't want friends.
I was just being polite. I have no intention of being friends with
I'm
you.
under some pressure right now from my OS class, and if we could just order some food, I think we should be...
Okay, you are probably going to be a very successful computer person. But you're going to go through life thinking that girls don't like you because you're a nerd. And I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that that won't be true. It'll be because you're an asshole.
Okay, so this scene works so well because we learn a ton about Mark. We learn that he is arrogant, insecure, overly analytical, an absolutely atrocious first date, without anyone actually having to say Mark is arrogant, insecure, overly analytical. Even though the character does say later, like, Mark, you're an asshole, it feels earned because we've been watching him be an asshole for 4 minutes up until that point. So the dialogue reveals the dynamic between these two characters. We hear about their history, we get a sense of upcoming conflicts, and it all occurs naturally through this emotional subtext and escalating tension in the dialogue, without it actually having to literally say, the tension is escalating, I feel so nervous. If you contrast this to Anakin in the elevator being like, I'm sweating because I'm so nervous to see Padme because I'm in love with her. He doesn't literally say that, but it's pretty close. Again, here, this dialogue unfolds super naturally, so we learn about the characters and how they're feeling through the subtext rather than being literally told what they're feeling. If you think about that in natural dialogue terms, it's very rare that we as people go to someone and say, I am so mad, I am so hungry, I am so tired. We instead reveal how we feel through subtext that other people pick up on. So to write natural dialogue, you have to incorporate that subtext, not just literally say what you're thinking and feeling through exposition. All right, next Star Wars scene. I just want to say up front, I think Hayden Christensen does absolutely nothing wrong in this scene. World-class acting and world-class sleeve game from Padme.
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women.
You're shaking so
and
bad.
the children, too. They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals.
Got the theme music coming
I
in.
hate them.
There it is.
To be angry is to be human.
I'm a Jedi. I know I'm better than this.
So to be angry is to be human. Why does this line not work? Well, first, it sounds a bit like a Yoda proverb. It doesn't actually sound like a real person is speaking. But beyond that, Anakin has just confessed to some really serious war crimes. He's basically telling Padme that he went off and killed men, women, and children. Padme is supposed to be this pacifist with incredibly strong opinions about right and wrong. We even see this earlier in the movie when she lectures Anakin about democracy and the danger of dictatorships. It is completely out of character for her to accept the murder of children just because she thinks Anakin's cute or something. The real cardinal sin of this line is that it feels like it's an out-of-character line that is meant to serve the plot, not the actual characters themselves. Anakin and Padme aren't together yet. We are still seeing them fall in love. So Anakin can't actually do something that turns Padme off and doesn't have them fall in love, because then where would we be? But at the same time, we need to show Anakin's journey towards Darth Vader, and so he does this horrific act that sets him further on the path to Darth Vader. But Padme has to forgive him, because otherwise they would never fall in love and we would never get Luke and Leia and the original trilogy of movies. So it's an incredibly out-of-character line that is serving the plot. Likewise, because of where this line falls in the movie, they don't actually have enough time to sit and kind of grapple with this. So we see Padme forgive him really, really quickly. Actually, she doesn't even really forgive him. She's never mad at him in the first place. But we see her do this right at the beginning because we need to move the plot forward, not because it's who Padme actually is as a character. So another one of the key cardinal mistakes that writers make is making characters say dialogue that serves the plot instead of serves the character themselves. Let's look at a better example of in-character reactions from Breaking Bad.
Walt, what did that phone call mean?
Where is it? Where's the rest? The money, Skylar. Where is the rest? Skylar.
Where is the money?
I gave it to Ted.
I gave it to Ted.
You did what?
Walt, I had to. For us, for the family. I swear. Walt.
You gave our money to Pennick.
Walt, please, please just hear me out, please.
This scene works so much better because both of the characters are completely in a character throughout it. So Walt isn't suddenly kind or understanding because Skylar has been helping her friend. He's still incredibly angry and overdramatic and rolling around, screaming at her. And on the other side, Skylar is fearful. She's dropping this information and bracing for impact in a way that feels very in line with her character and the relationship dynamics between the two of them. Throughout the scene, both of the characters stay emotionally aligned with their past decisions, who they are as characters, their core motivations, even as the stakes of the scene escalate. Okay, time for one of the most famous Star Wars scenes of all, the sand scene.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating.
It's irritating.
And it gets everywhere.
Gets everywhere.
Not like here.
This scene was so iconic to me as a child.
Here everything is soft and smooth.
Your skin is soft and smooth. Very creepy. So first of all, this scene just doesn't work because this really isn't how you flirt, unless you flirt very, very badly. But more than that, it just sounds like this forced metaphor. It sounds like Anakin is trying to be incredibly deep. It's not how anyone would really talk in real life. People don't speak like this. At the end of the day, it just lacks subtlety. It's trying to be really deep, and so because it's trying to be really deep, it just actually isn't really deep at all. Here's a better example of trying to be emotionally deep from Good Will Hunting.
You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Why, thank you.
It's all right. You've never been out of Boston.
Nope.
So if I asked you about art, you'd probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo. You know a lot about him. Life's work, political aspirations, him and the Pope, sexual orientation, the whole works, right? I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You've never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling. Seen that. If I ask you about women, you'd probably give me a syllabus of your personal favorites. You may have even been laid a few times. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy.
Again, such a good movie. Okay, this scene works because the dialogue is raw, it's emotional, it's really beautifully crafted, and it sounds like real people are actually saying it. The character is speaking like a professional therapist and grieving husband actually would, with deep meaning but simple, actual language. The scene is poetic without trying to be clever. It's not Anakin trying to say something so deep and to kind of create this metaphor that then doesn't actually work. It's how humans would actually talk. What they're saying flows from their characters and the pain they're experiencing, not some hitting bolt that they're trying to get across. Okay, so our final scene is the diner scene with Obi-Wan and Dex. And I honestly think that this scene should have gotten Ewan McGregor an Oscar because it's so bad and he is trying so hard.
Obi-Wan!
Hello, Dex.
Take a seat, I'll be right with you.
You want a cup of Joe with juice?
Oh, yes, thank you.
You just know that he got to the set and there was not a single real prop or anything there. It's terrible and awful and wonderful all at once.
So, my friend, what can I do for you?
You can tell me what this is.
Wow! What do you know? I ain't seen one of these since I was prospecting on Subterrell, beyond the Outer Rim.
Can you tell me where it came from? Thank you.
This baby belongs to them cloners. What you got here is a Camino saber dart.
I wonder why it didn't show up in the analysis archives.
It's these funny little cuts on the side that give it away. Those analysis droids only focus on symbols. I should think that you Jedi would have more respect for the difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Well, if droids could think, there'd be none of us here, would there?
Okay, so this scene is a perfect example of the key mistake of speaking too cleanly, or in other words, not how people would actually talk. People in conversations don't just neatly take turns all the time. I speak, you speak, I speak, you speak. In this scene, Obi-Wan and Dex are speaking in perfectly clean turns. Obi-Wan finishes a sentence, Dex finishes a sentence. Turns, turns, turns. There are no interruptions, no overlapping. This dialogue feels like a series of information handoffs between the two characters rather than an actual conversation, particularly between two characters who are meant to be old friends. The characters don't react naturally or emotionally or really even at all to what the other is saying because, again, it's this trade-off of I give you information, you give me information. I give you information, you give me information. That's just not how conversations actually work. Let's look at the pencil scene from Fleabag as an example of something that's much better.
Tell the truth.
It's horrendous.
It's horrendous.
It's modern.
Don't lie.
I'm not.
I look like a pencil.
You don't look like...
Don't laugh!
It's okay.
It's not okay. I'm gonna lose my job.
You won't lose your job. It's cool.
It's not cool.
It's edgy.
Oh,
Fuck off! Oh, it's she!
It's unsalvageable!
Claire is French.
Really?
So good. Okay, so this scene works because these characters are interrupting, speaking over each other, just like real siblings would. They even hesitate when they're not quite sure what to say. It's not just this perfect cadence of one sentence, then the other. There's also emotional tension and miscommunication and potential miscommunication layered into every single thing the characters say. We see the characters think about, oh my gosh, what do I say next? Is this the right thing to say? I'm trying to get my sister to feel better about this haircut, because there are actual stakes to this conversation. It's not just this neat information handoff that we saw between Obi-Wan and Dex. The dialogue in this scene is dynamic, and it feels like a real conversation between two people, not just this information trade-off between characters. So when you're thinking about your dialogue, think about what you can do to make sure it feels real. Will your characters interrupt each other? Will they misunderstand each other? Are there ways that you can layer in opportunities to make the dialogue sound more like an actual conversation with the natural cadences that an actual conversation follows? Sometimes it's faster paced.
What took you so long? Oh, you know, Master. I couldn't find a speeder that I really liked. There he is, with the open cockpit and the right speed capabilities.
Sometimes it's slower paced, but you need to think, how do people actually talk, and what would suit the rhythm of this scene in order to make it work? Dialogue is one of the most powerful tools you have as a writer. When it's done well, it doesn't just sound real. It deepens character, builds tension, and keeps your readers hooked. Writing strong, natural dialogue is just one piece of the writing puzzle, but you also need to make sure that your characters are worth listening to in the first place. Be sure to check out my video on building compelling characters to learn the 3 essential questions that will make your protagonists leap off the page. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe for more updates from StoryLab.